What is main carriage in Incoterms? Imagine sending a package across the world and wondering who is responsible for the big part of the journey. That's where the idea of main carriage comes into play. In international trade, main carriage is the primary leg of moving goods from one country to another. It starts at the port or airport, where the seller loads the goods, and ends when the goods arrive at the destination port or airport in the buyer's country. This part of the journey can be by sea, air, rail, or road, depending on what the buyer and seller agree on. Incoterms, which are international trade rules published by the International Chamber of Commerce, help clarify who is responsible for organizing and paying for this main carriage. These rules are used worldwide to avoid confusion and disputes. For example, in some Incoterms like cost and freight or cost, insurance, and freight, the seller is responsible for paying for the main carriage to the destination port. But even though the seller pays, the risk of loss or damage shifts to the buyer once the goods are loaded onto the vessel. In other Incoterms like carriage paid to, the seller pays for the main carriage all the way to a specific destination. However, the risk might transfer earlier, when the goods are handed over to the first carrier. In the case of free carrier, the seller's responsibility ends once they deliver the goods to the carrier at a named place, and from that point, the buyer takes over the main carriage responsibilities. Understanding who handles the main carriage is very important for managing costs and risks. It affects how shipments are booked, insured, and tracked. It also influences the total cost of getting goods from one country to another. When businesses clearly specify in their contracts who is responsible for the main carriage, it makes the whole process smoother. It helps avoid delays, unexpected costs, or cargo getting stuck somewhere. Choosing the right Incoterm and understanding main carriage responsibilities shape how logistics providers are selected and how freight is arranged. It also impacts the paperwork involved in international shipping. For supply chain managers, knowing who is responsible for main carriage helps keep shipments on schedule and reduces surprises. If there's confusion about who pays or who is liable during the main transport, it can lead to delays or extra costs. In short, main carriage is the core part of moving goods across borders. It's the main journey that carries your shipment from the seller's port to the buyer's port. The responsibility and costs for this part are decided by the Incoterm used in the trade agreement. Being clear about this helps keep international shipping running smoothly and keeps costs predictable.